Okay, so let me just see if I'm not, I think I might have got a little mixed up to where I'm at. Okay, we're supposed to be on page Kaf Dalet. And Kaf Dalet, and we're learning here in the Shefa HaKavanos, what exactly are we trying to accomplish? So he said, "V'hine inyan zecha b'chu tosefes kedusha alecha b'zmanim elu yosef mebechol." So he's going on the concept of this is an additional amount of kedusha. Oh yeah, let me say I figured out what he meant by the parts of the yom versus the parts of the what does he call it? Parts of the regalim? No, that's not right. Parts of I forget which is what it was. Let me see. Give me a second. Sorry. The parts of a yomim versus what's the other one? But parts of azmanim. Okay, there we go. Those are the words. So I realized I accidentally erased the shir that we did together, and so I had to do it again. When I did it again, this Yiddish Hashem helps me out a little bit here. I realized that what he's talking about is he said like this. First, there's the light, let's say like the light of Pesach, which is a chesed. So all throughout Pesach, this light is so powerful, it dominates. The same thing he said, for example, about Rosh Hashanah. So that's with Gevurah. So one is chesed, one's Gevurah. So come over here, and we're dealing with Hod. Now, somewhere in there, he said that Hod is not all that, it's hidden just to a certain extent. It's not all that manifest. So therefore, like it's not like the sun at noon with a candle, or on Pesach and Rosh Hashanah, that the atmosphere is so full of those midos. But over here, it's not like that. Instead, so in other words, you don't have this atmosphere of Hod, or if you do, it's hidden. So he said, so therefore, what do? We count the days. We go to he calls it the parts of the Yomim. So first day of Hanukkah, today's the fourth day of Hanukkah. So that's how you do it. Each day is going to be a separate thing. And along the way, he said, in this, along the way, then the parts of the, I keep forgetting this name, the parts of the Zemanim, there we go, the parts of the Zemanim just comes along by itself because it's behind the scenes, so to speak. Okay, that was I thought was an insight that was helpful to me. Now let's go over here now once again. Now we've discussed this some already. So now let's see what he says. And his buyer kan hamala sheyesh the nok b'mei haChanukah. Shehi mikabelas es orasecha ba'atzma. She gets them together. We said this. Shelo al yedecha b'Yaakov bailo. Amna medayim b'decha b'tiretz al inyan Yuridis Yaakov lahod. But that's the whole. That's a big deal. What happened to Yaakov? Now, did we learn this yesterday, or maybe got to some of it? So we'll try the whole thing. So what happened to Yaakov? How is it that he made a Yurid? I think we mentioned yesterday that b'mei Chanukah. So why does he go down? So the downness has to do, instead of a cross, which would be the stake by Zer Anpin, there's also left over from the Olam HaNekudim, which is that in that case he was down one. So that's still there. So it's going down one. You may or it's getting closer, let's say, to the end of the line, which is Yesod in this case. Yaakov Yemei HaChol Kedusha Yosef Menachanukah. Shebechol Hu B'Netzach V'Chanukah Yard the Hole. So this whole inyan of how he got down there, or what that went about, so that's the question is, how did that move? You could say like Yaakov and Rachel are on the lower right side and the lower left side from the Chaz Lamata of Zer Anpin. So you could say that, but if you move Yaakov over to the left side, how'd you get him over there? So I don't know if he's going to answer that. Behind the Shekol HaShefesh She'anim Mekabling, who parts of Rachel, it's all from the parts of Rachel. The Rachel is Malchus. Rachel Yamim Elu Chaim B'Ma'ala Gedola. They're in a very high level because Rachel is really being fortified. Shekabelas Arasecha B'Atzma B'Zer Anpen. B'Avshel L'Gabe Yaakov Yamim Elu Nemuchim Yosef. But then here's what it is. He humbled himself. Maybe that's okay. That's my ha'ara right now. He humbled himself because that's sometimes what a husband has to do with his wife. Just say a metaphor, or it seems like I'm doing it all the time. So he says, Nechshavim Yomim Elu Ma'ulim. So then these are really on a higher level. Sha'iga de Dadan Hu parts of Rachel V'Daik. So that's a fact. If we could build up Rachel, that's actually part of what I hear, in a situation that I'm in, that this makes a lot of sense. So that it is Omed Benetzach, who was over a Netzach, he's up above her. That's explained in the Eitz Chaim. What's the Eitz Chaim said? So he says, let me get back. Oh, here we go. Because in the weekday, that's the way it lines up. So it says there's no particular tikkun in Hod. V'hodi nehafach alai l'mashchis. Here's that word mashchis again. That my Hod turned around for me to mashchis. I didn't look it up. You know what mashchis means over here?
Oh, just something destructive.
A destruction, yeah. So he says, but Hod itself is on that left line. I skipped. I want to go back to that. Hodi, my Hod, nafach olai lamashchis. Now, exactly what are we trying to say here? It turns into a destroyer. But on the same kind, there's a tikkun over a netzach. So we say that it's really straight. Or min hod. So therefore, she's going to get that light of the Hod. But it's a high light of din. So she gets it through him. That is through Yaakov. And it comes through his netzach. So it pours down the right line. And he wants to say that it pours over, it goes over to the left side. Yeah, there you go. That individual, that high priest, so he fixed Hod only during this time. Now what does that mean? So he said, ihi or minahod atzma al yado. Let's go back and see what the words were. Again, I got thrown by the Mitzyahu over there. So the Kohen Gadol, Mitzyahu ben Yochanan, he said, Tikkun HaHod. He made a Tikkun in Hod. He made it only in this time. Be'elohei yomem levad. L'chein, mekabelas ihi or minahod atzma al yado. Through herself. Now that I'm still trying to think, what is the kasher between he makes a tikkun in this, and now he's saying that as a result of that, and what's the tikkun? I mean, so what exactly does it mean? He opened up the flow going directly from the left side of Zeranpin into the Hod, into Hod, Hod of Zer Anpin is into the Zer Anpin, and that's going to be mashpia to the Nukah Hod Asma al Yado, Shalo al Yado, and not through him. That's the tikkun. So how or what, I don't know. L'chein anu omrim al nizim bebirchos modim. So therefore we add this idea that is what is the nace. The nace is that a tikkun was made into the Hod of Zer Anpin, so that he could be mashpia directly into the nukva. Because of Od Sham Besof Hadrash, The Mekaven should be Yomim Elun the Sake in the Hod. This is what's happened is that once again, this tikkun that we make in the Hod that allows it to mashpia directly to Nuk, Osin Shmonis Yemei Chanukah. So this tikkun lasts 8 days. So this is the metaphor for the flask of oil lasting 8 days. That's the tikkun. Let me just see if they're in the Mekaven Shebiyomim Elun Nisake Nahod. So that's what happened that Matisyahu Kohen Gadol did. Osin Shmonas Yemei Chanukah. That's what makes the 8th day of this Chanukah. Chanukah is lashon dedication, rededication. The Hahod Hu Hasfira Hashminis Bekaser. What does that mean? The Kain Kosav Rishab B'Sefer HaKodesh Ba'anar Shalom. V'od Kosav Shama Rishash. So let me say this again. He said that Hod is a Sefira Hashminis. Now, what does it mean? Shmini to me means that it's really, that's Bina. Bina, look from the bottom to the top, is the Shminis. Here, from the top to the bottom, he says it's Hod. So they go together anyway. So he says the Hod Hu Hasfira Hashminis Mekaser. So I guess that's how you count. V'chein kosav rishash b'sefer hakodesh, and our shalom is read that too. V'od kosav shama rishash. The zecha b'sod hadlakas Chanukah etzel Pesach. This is the concept of lighting the Chanukah lights near a door. Shecha b'Pesach hu suras ches, because it's a surah of the letter ches. Shehu midas hod. Ches, from the top to the bottom, from Kesser down to Hod, is 8 steps. That's the Surah of Pesach. He says this is the secret of why you light next to a door. Shehu midas Hod. Sfira Hashminis, the 8th Sfira. Ayin Sham, Shaharik Od becomes Soda Samukim. There's a lot there, man. A lot there. Okay, so that's a kavanah that we understand now. He just gave us a kavanah for why we put this next to this, the concept of 8. Now, I think that you could say, the question is that how, in fact, what is this tikkun? The tikkun that allows the Hod of Zer Anpin to shine directly into the Nuk. What is that tikkun? And that's what this is about. It's about that there's a doorway here. There's a doorway as the patach, which is a ches. The ches is also a doorway. So the doorway opens up that door from Zer Anpin. It's just like I'm looking at like my left kidney. So my left kidney is now opened up and it's being mashpia directly into my feet, so to speak. I don't know. Let's go on to the next part. Now we're on a different part. Let's see how much more time we got. We got 5 minutes. Precious flat 5 minutes. So I think that the deal I got to do here is read the Tiva Kavanos from the phrase on page Kaf Daled where it says Va'amnam. So it's Amnam Inyan Kavanos Birchos Hadlokas Aner Hem Sovavim Al Yichud Echad Elyon V'Shalem, which is called by the name Ner. Now he's going to start. He wants to go into this. And so we know Ner from other places. So he says, Yesh Yichud Echad Elyon, V'Shalom and Nikra Ner. And how do you get to Ner? Well, you go with these combination of gematrias of the Havayah Akya Havayah elokim, and Havayah Adni. If you add up the gematrias there, the Yichudim, put them all together, they look like this. In other words, you make shiluvim out of it. That this is Havayah Akya Havayah elokim and Havayah Adni. If you count up the gematrias of those, you'll find out that the Mispar Shlosha Yichudim Elu Olim B'Mis B'Ner. The L'Kaman, the L'chein Nikra Yichud Ze Yichud Ner. Now he said there are 3 Yichudim that take place in the highest possible conception. He says, Osim Bracha Lahadlik Ner. So when you make that bracha, that's the Ner that you're talking about, is to kindle these Yehudim. This is the Ner of Chanukah Na'asa Shlosha Yehudim Elu B'Shleima, so they become perfected that you are creating these shiluvim. Now, not to forget that it's the shiluv. It's a shiluv, three different kinds of yichud. So when this as a result of this, you're going to make the shleimus of Yaakov and Rachel. So again, we're dealing with, he's telling us and helping us that we're dealing with the weekday. The weekday was Yaakov and Rachel. That's a place where we could spend some time. Because that's where they have an ayin sham. Yichud elyon zera mikra ner mevur heide b'shar kavanos. In regards to the tefillas of Shachrit, the tefillas Amida, but when you get over the Sim Shalom, now that's a place where the Yichud of Kadshaus takes place. The Oz v'na'asach v'chayicha v'noted the call zivug tzarek l'chiyos b'chinas ner kazeh. Now, how does that translate? Every Yichud has to have this concept, which is Havayah Akya Havayah elokim Havayah Adni, v'yizbar l'kamon b'tov tam. Now, he's going to get into it more. How we doing time-wise? Still got more time. V'nyana b'kitzer, who's this? Kishlosha b'china shel yichud shel zun. So he says, I'll read the light. He said, the mevor rab b'kitzara b'china shlosha yichudim sheyesh l'zun b'zmanim rishonim v'yizboyer. So the first time would be a rishon hu b'chinas havayah ekyer misparomaz. So he says the gematria, that is 47. Yichud Rishon Elyon Shabakulam Hu B'chinas Shilov Havayah Akya. So that's what he's saying. He says that's that maz. The Hadarko. So he said the Hadocher, and it goes like this: that the male aspect, which is Havayah, v'hanuk hi Akya is Akya. V'hayichud Naasi Yeder Shemashalvim, put them together, to mix them together, match them up together. Shnei Hashemos Yachad. Hainu os mishem Havayah, the os mishem Akya Kizeh, and then he shows it to you how they're mixed. V'chein na'aseh, so the same thing, na'aseh hayichud l'mizbach ha'shemos ela olamaz, so that we see that there's another fact to this, is it also has a gematria. That gematria is going to be important. Because it's going to add it together, maz, the Havayah olam ku, which comes to 26. So what he says, he says, look at it, he says, Olam Ku, Olam Ku, okay, the Ola Kafalav. Now, what is that? Let me say, I said it wrong. The Havayah Ola Ku, the Ekya Ola Kafalav, 21. V'yachad, they made this name Maz, this Gematria Maz. V'hu hamadrega hama'alam b'shloshtam, this is the highest level, which is 47, b'chabad. And it refers also, if we're starting to think now, where is it coming from? It's coming from the Chabad. So, I think, okay, let's do one more. So the second one has to do with the concept of the Havayah elokim. Umisparo Yabak, 112. Now we know that Yabak is a famous name. Yichud Hasheni hu b'bechinas shiluv Havayah and elokim, and it looks like this. V'hu da'adachar shu Havayah ola kol, v'elokim shehi amalchus ola po. So you have 26 and 86. B'yachad, they make the gematria of 112. Yabak. V'hu b'chagat. So this particular shiluv is going to be in Chagat. Now, so I'm assuming this is the Chagat the Zerampin or Chagat. I'm not sure what Chagat it is. But
That's it.
Huh? That's it? Out of time. Okay, we'll come back over to where we could get this start over here. Start here. Today is the, what did we say this? Today is the 27th. Is the 28th. 28th. Kiss. 85. 86. Okay. That's it. That's a share for today.